Hey there everyone, my name is Christian Eschbach and welcome to another one of my album reviews. Now if you've watched the previous Beatles review, which I did for the White Album or the Beatles, still find it weird whenever I see it referred to like that, you will know that I've recorded the Beatle reviews completely out of order. Also, if you're one of my regular viewers, you will know I had a big gap in posting, like over 2 weeks, because my computer went down and I had to go get it repaired and whatnot, and that took a little time because I tried to fix it myself. So, this review for the Yellow Submarine, which this is not the actual official Yellow Submarine soundtrack, this is the movie soundtrack, and I'll explain in a moment. But this is recorded weeks after the other reviews were recorded, and I've got reviews all out of sequence just because of the way they got recorded. So, some of these songs will have already been talked about. Some of them will not have been. I'm just going to get into this. Basically, the original Yellow Submarine album was seen as a contractual obligation. You know, they may, and the movie itself, I'm not sure the whole deal behind the movie, if that was also felt as a contractual obligation or not. This here is the Beatles songs that were used throughout the movie, more or less. They took out the George Martin songs. No one really cares about the George Martin tracks because they were the actual soundtrack. You know, or the scoring, if you like, or whatnot. But were never seen as real Beatles tracks, because they weren't. They were George Martin tracks. Anyways, this was released in '99. Everything on here is basically a Lennon-McCartney track, except for 4 Harrison songs that are on here, which we'll get into as I go. This was the reissue from when they released the movie on DVD for the first time. Believe it or not, to this day, I've still never seen the movie. I have all the figures. I have the Todd McFarlane figures. As a matter of fact, let me do this real fast. You can see them. There's the Yellow Submarine figures right there. So I've got the Yellow Submarine figures. I've got the soundtrack. For some weird reason, to this day, I have never sat down and watched the movie in its entirety. I don't have a good reason. Let's get into music. Alright, album opens up with the actual title track, The Yellow Submarine. Now, this is one of those songs. It's funny, and it's goofy, and I love it. I enjoy it. It's up there with Octopus's Garden. As a matter of fact, Yellow Submarine, I don't remember the album that it was on that my parents had. But there was an album they had when I was a kid. It had a whole bunch of songs on it that were basically safe for children, but they were still kind of rock songs. I think Snoopy versus the Red Baron was on it as well. I'm not 100% sure. But I used to love listening to Yellow Submarine on that album. And this is when I was a young child, you know. I think it was one of the first albums I was allowed to take up to my room and listen to, kind of thing. And just absolutely fell in love with the song Yellow Submarine. You know, as goofy and cheesy as it is, it's just a really fun, cute song. From there you get Hey Bulldog. Hey Bulldog's not bad. It's another one where it's kind of a fun, goofy kind of song. Every song on here is kind of a little goofy. Not all of them, but yeah, some of them. And Hey Bulldog, you know, same thing. I really enjoy it. It really sounds like the band was having fun when they were recording the song. Just kind of letting loose in the studio kind of thing. From there, we go into Eleanor Rigby. Now, I have heard multiple covers of Eleanor Rigby. And all of them usually stay really pretty close and faithful in rendition to this version. And this song is hauntingly beautiful. It really is a wonderful song. And I really do believe that it's one of those songs that you really need to check out from the Beatles. I would probably put it on my Beatles top 10. Love You Too. This is the first George Harrison song on here. I'm gonna be honest. Out of all the tracks in the first 5 tracks, Love You Too is the one that I pay the least amount of attention to. Not that it's a bad song, it's just, out of all the other ones, it's kinda, Because after that, it's followed up with All Together Now, which is also, once again, a fun kind of song. You know, I really enjoy it. I really like what they do with it. You know, it doesn't... One of the beautiful things about the Beatles is they prove over and over again that not every song has to be serious, and not every song has to be like this great rock kind of masterpiece. Sometimes you can just have a little fun. And then we get into Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I have covered this song. I have discussed this song. It's definitely covered in when I do the Blue Album Greatest Hits, which will be actually the review after this, even though I recorded it weeks ago. Yeah, back to that whole out of sequence thing. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, though, is another song that I think is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and it's one of those songs that I just... If it comes on in a car, I'm going Wayne's World on it. Think for Yourself, not a bad tune. This is also a George Harrison song. I do get into it. I really do enjoy it. It's kind of weird because on this collection of songs, most of the George Harrison songs kind of get a little lost in here, and it's kind of weird, the Harrison songs that were picked as well. Because there are other songs I would have selected myself to put in there that for some weird reason were left out. Then we get to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Alright, so I have covered this one amply. You can go watch the Blue Greatest Hits album when it comes out next, or you can go watch Sgt. Pepper's review. I believe I did that one. Hope I did. And that's followed up with A Little Help from My Friends. Same thing. Go watch either of those. Then you got Baby You're a Rich Man. This is a fun tune, too. It's just a fun, poppy kind of song. Now, I do, when I discuss the Blue album, or many reviews, I mentioned that I'm not a huge fan of the early pop kind of stuff. Baby You're a Rich Man definitely is that early pop stuff, but it had a little more experimenting in it, a little more playfulness with it, a little more almost proggy kind of vibe to it. So, you know, I can definitely overlook certain things. Then we get to Only a Northern Song, which is also a Harrison song. This one, and the reason I mention the Harrison songs so much separately is if you've ever watched any of my reviews, you'll know that George Harrison is my favorite of the Beatles. Only a Northern Song is a good tune. I really do enjoy it. This is another song where it seems really weird that they put this one on this album. I really love it. There's just a vibe and an energy to it that's wonderful. Then you get All You Need Is Love. Alright, so I've covered this one as well. I do like All You Need Is Love, but I prefer the Christmas parody rendition, All You Need Is Elves by Bob Rivers. I think it's hilarious. It takes what is considered one of the more campy Beatles songs and, you know, spins it on its head and makes it a little more fun. Then we get to When I'm 64. I really, after all these years, I don't know how I truly feel about this song. Part of me thinks it is just cheese garbage. Part of me thinks it's brilliant. I think I appreciated it more as a teenager than I do now. But weirdly, I enjoy it more now than I did in my 30s. It's maybe as I'm getting older, you know. A little over 20 years away from me. That's followed up by Nowhere Man. I do dig Nowhere Man. I think it's a good tune. I can totally see why it was thrown on this album. It's kind of got a great vibe to it, sort of, but it's mellow at the same time. It's one of those Beatles songs that you kind of you want to enjoy because it's a good tune, but at the same time it's like, wow, really? This just kind of feels really soft and oldies. And then the last track on here is also the final Harrison track on here, which is It's All Too Much. Another good tune. Another simple tune, another enjoyable tune. The whole way around, that's what this album is. It really is just kind of a collection of the more fun and simple kind of Beatles songs. A lot of, I don't want to say the poppier stuff, because it's not all poppy stuff. There is actually a good assortment on here. To me, because so much of it is off of previous albums, and I've discussed on previous albums, I kind of overlook a lot of it on here. And as I said, I love Yellow Submarine, the song itself. Yeah, it's probably one of the earliest songs I can remember, honestly, in my lifetime really being into. And I mean, like, I'm talking about probably 5, maybe 6 years old, 7 at the absolute oldest. I don't remember how old it was when the needle went on my record player. It was just a cute little portable thing. But Eleanor Rigby, ooh, that is a song that I listen to a lot. And I don't remember which band it is that did the really kind of metal version of it. It was one of those, you know, turn of the millennium metal bands. Did a killer version of it, and really good. And I'll probably pop it up here in the comments. Great video for it too. I think it was wonderfully done. But Alice Cooper has also done a version of it, and Alice's version, you know, Alice's voice sits perfect for it. There are certain songs that Alice doing when it comes to the Beatles makes total sense, and Eleanor Rigby is definitely one of those songs. And it was on a Paul McCartney tribute album, which I should get around to doing a review for that one. I might put that one up sometime in the fall, because it's got a great collection of Paul McCartney songs, including Beatles tracks, done by other famous artists. But those are my thoughts, those are my views, those are my opinions. This is the Beatles' Yellow Submarine soundtrack, not to be confused with the Beatles' Yellow Submarine album. Let me know what you think. That's what the comment section is for. I know I kind of rushed through this, but like I said, really, I think, if I remember correctly, it's the first 5 songs are the only songs that were actually from the movie, that were exclusively made, or recorded, I should say. Yeah. Comments. Like, subscribe, little bell for the notifications. There's a link to Patreon. Peace, love, take care.